And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to ESA Cup Season 7, where we now are still in Stage 2. But one thing is changing compared to the other matches you've seen in Stage 2 so far, because today we are seeing our first BO3 elimination match. My name is Bozomax, and tonight I'm once again accompanied by Nash. Good evening.
Hello, Bozo. How's it going?
Bozo. That name is sticking, right? Since Pearson called me Bozo, that's one of the names that's just sticking so much to you. But yeah, I'm fine. I mean, I've been here yesterday. I've seen some pretty interesting matches, and yeah, I'm just very excited to see a bit of a change. Like those BO3s are way more interesting than BO1s in my opinion. I guess most people can agree with that. And yeah, I'm just very excited. Like we will say goodbye to one team today, basically. One other team will continue to live another day in the danger zone, as they will remain to be in those elimination matches, but we'll still proceed to the fourth week. But yeah, just seeing a bit of different maps today. Always like the maps will be always be identical, like no 2 times, 3 times Oregon in one evening. So yeah, I'm excited.
Indeed, there's always going to be a different map coming up after the prior, but something that I'd like to just say is it's going to be a sad day for one of these teams. They've come so far, they've tried so hard, and in
Yes,
the
of
end,
course.
it won't even matter.
No, it's in the end so many weeks. I think 7, 8 weeks have gone by. This will be the 9th week of the competition, I believe. No, sorry, this is the 8th week of the competition. So 8 weeks to potentially end everything right here and right now. Of course, probably teams still had a great run, lots of experience, but only one out of these two teams can be the best. And of course, the BO3 will be the perfect way to decide who is. So yeah, as we are preparing the match, let's just take a look at what we're actually going to be playing tonight. Because of course, let's also talk about who is playing, because some people might not really recognize those logos that are shown on our desk below. It has to do with the left team with the yellow logo right now. That used to be Tracker Clan, but they have been picked up by a new organization. And let me just quickly check how to pronounce the name. Eclezya. As I'm hearing from the voice message from the team captain. But yeah, that's the new team name, the new organization they will be playing under. But of course, also mostly remains the same. But yeah, Eclezya, we can see total win rate of 57%, which is, I mean, still more than half of the matches. And with our worst maps being Oregon and the best map being Cafe.
Well, it's one of those where it's relatively interesting to see, especially for the side of Eclezya, with how low they are in the Swiss stage right now, and obviously they're going to be trying to make a comeback. But on the opposite side, we have Aspire by SFD, and they have a bit of an easier name to pronounce, but they also have a win rate of 29%, which is one of those, meaning they're one of the teams that came in from like a third, fourth place sort of finish in the group stage, and then they've come into the Swiss stage, and obviously they haven't had the best of times. Obviously, as you said a moment ago, this is our first elimination match that we're going to be seeing. And that also means that both of these teams are, well, at the bottom of the standings.
Technically.
So they've really got to try and make a push to bring themselves out of this. They want to go into that sort of 1-2 area. They've lost both of their games. Eclezya, unfortunately, lost out to AGM, and then followed that up with a loss against Windows Key. So they had pretty tough opponents. And then on the opposite side, we had Aspire, who started out, I'm not too sure.
Sorry? What are you looking for?
So where
Aspire, they played against LDL and then Flawless 7. It seems like, the logos are so transparent
tiny.
because of course I lost that, like, the shows which team won and which team lost.
And
but
then they went into a match straight after against Flawless 7, who, as you can see, have made it all the way up to that 2-1 position. So they obviously lost out on that game as well. So now we're going to be seeing two teams that have had relatively tough opponents coming into this matchup. Aspire definitely more so, having harder opponents when it comes down to positioning on the tables. But nevertheless, I imagine we're going to see a fantastic game here. And speaking of a fantastic game here, anywhere,
Where
Let's
are
have
we
a look at the
going?
map bans.
That's the big question indeed. Of course, BO3 starts out with 4 bans, 2 bans by each team, and 2 picks, and one more ban per team, and then the deciders. So in this case, we'll be starting with Skyscraper, after which we're going to Border, and then this is finished up by Clubhouse. So those will be the 3 maps that we will be seeing today, of which 2, Skyscraper and Border, we haven't seen that much yet within this competition. So this is actually very exciting. Something that was also somehow predicted a bit with this BO3s, that we would see some more interesting maps coming out, like a bit of less of Oregon, like a bit less of the more typical maps, and a bit more out of the box maps. Because of course, in the end, this is an elimination match. You don't want to keep saving your strats till the very end until it's late. So if you're getting in this tight situation, this is the moment to bring things out and bring some new things to the table. So yeah, very interesting maps. And keep in mind for that very last map, which is going to be a Clubhouse, it already says that there was a side pick earlier, but that's actually a limitation or maybe an issue with OPL. We are not quite sure yet, but that will be ignored for now. We will stay with the usual way we usually do things, where the side pick is decided after the second map based on round difference.
Also, Twitter has helped me realize that Eclezya is the home of at least 2 weebs. Thanks to the gifs that they've been posting under the Eclezya tweet. Either way, that will either make them all the more powerful or much less the favorite.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And with both of these teams now being in the lowest part of the bracket, it's a bit hard to say which team is, of course, the better one. But one of the visuals that we can now quickly bring up is the prediction done by our production crew and by our viewers. So let's just take a quick look what the other people are expecting, starting out with the production crew. We are mostly I'm seeing a lot of yellow, just one blue there at next. Of course, that's the Aspire team.
Favoritism
but
here,
then there's also Ogun voting for Aspire, the majority clearly voting for I forgot the name again.
Eclezya.
Eclezya, thank you. It's always hard to get used to these new names. Yeah, of course. Then we also have the community prediction. We just have a bit more votes added to it, but again, there's a clear majority voting here for the side of Eclezya, which I mean, in some ways is understandable. Like if I'm quickly taking a look here at the standings of the group stage, Tracker Clan back then, so Eclezya, actually came out of the groups as the 6th best team. Well, Aspire, back then called Aspire by EOS, they actually changed organization, came out as the very last, the 16th. So in terms of what is it? In terms of performance within the group stage, there's a pretty big difference between these two teams. And whether Tracker Clan Eclezya had a bad time during this stage so far, I'm not quite sure, because they did very well within the group stage. But technically, yes, if we look at the performance-wise, they are the better team. And that's also what we have seen with the percentages earlier back in those team cards. So I can understand that there's an advantage there for Eclezya.
Well, as we said before, like with this being an elimination game, this is definitely make or break for both sides of the sort of table here. And I think the major thing to consider is the score lines that we've seen. Obviously, I would say of the 3, you've got Flawless 7. LDL I would consider to be like above the others, just in general skill alone. But in the matches that have been played, you've got Flawless 7, which I would probably consider to be around on par, if not slightly worse or slightly better than the 2 teams that Eclezya have played. And it was 7-4 in Flawless 7 versus Team Aspire to knock Aspire down into this matchup.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
But on the opposite side, you've got AGM and Windows Key that, as I said, I would consider to be like somewhere around the same level as Flawless 7, based on the matches I've seen and the performances that they've given. And it was 8-6, 8-7. Not in that order, but it was 8-7 in favor of AGM against Eclezya, and then 8-6 in favor of Windows Key against Eclezya. So I think when it comes down to performance as a whole in the Swiss stage, for Eclezya, and that's a major part of how this match is going to go. I really do believe.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see how this will be go. And actually, one of the things that I was like quickly remembering, one of the maps that we're going to, that's the second map, is going to be Border. And wasn't Border one of the worst maps for either of these two teams? I think for Aspire, right? Like if I remember the visual correctly. No, not Aspire. Yeah, Aspire. Aspire has worst map Border. So that's actually an interesting one. And who picked that map in the end? Let me just quickly take a look. It was a map picked by Aspire.
Yeah.
Uh,
It was mapped by Aspire, and I think all that means is
yeah,
that they've got maybe some like questionable strategies that they're ready to try in a match like this.
yeah.
Because as we said, it's very make or break for both of these teams. They
Mhm.
want to pull out all the stops, and that's exactly what they're going to be doing. So Aspire picking into what is statistically their worst map in this league so far,
Mhm.
um, is definitely a very big factor as to um a very big question mark factor, I guess, if you want to put it that
Yeah.
way. Like a very big wild card for the side of Eclezya because they
Mhm.
can't go into that knowing what to expect, especially after seeing such a minimal sort of subpar performance from the side of Aspire.
Yeah, indeed. And of course, also keep in mind that we need to take those best and worst maps with a bit of a grain of salt, like because it's only based on OPL. So whatever map has been played in OPL, and then whether it was lost or won, that kind of decides whether it's the best or worst map. So even like there's even a good chance that that Aspire picked Oregon before of Oregon Border before because they feel so confident about it, have been doing very well in other competitions or in scrims or whatsoever, and then still unfortunately lost it against a very good team. So even then, like it still could potentially mean that Border is actually a very good map for them, and that these visuals might just be deceiving a little bit. Um, but I believe we're just in a bit of a delay here. Apparently, some players not joining yet or having issues to join. So I guess we will be cutting to a bit of a break screen for the moment. Just to save you guys from our endless nonsense talk. So don't go too far. It shouldn't take too long, but yeah, we'll be back in a bit. See you guys soon. And welcome back, everyone. Sorry for the long wait, but we can finally start this match, or maybe technically it has already started because we have some bad news for the fans of Eclezya, right? Nash?
Eclezya.
Eclezya. As you might have noticed, of course, this match was heavily delayed, and for this reason, specifically, uh, we had to give some penalty points. And of course, as you can see right now, it's an all-5 score, meaning that Aspire already has scored 5 points, which is a result, of course, as a penalty towards the opponent. And well, this should make this first match interesting, Nash.
Yeah, there is rhyme and reasoning for anyone that doesn't quite understand. Essentially, as a late fee, um, the side of Aspire were given rounds based on the amount of time it took, um, because one of the players on the opposite side was having issues, and well, here we are.
Yeah, issues which are still present as the player unfortunately left, but he's now returning. So luckily we can start this match soon. And Nash, actually, one thing we haven't said this whole evening yet: the new season.
Oh dear, I forgot about that.
Someone was freaking annoying with the sound board in this chat. Okay, sorry. Well, either way, what I was trying to say is something we haven't mentioned at all today yet is that the new season is out, meaning there's a new operator that is technically on the board. It's not being picked yet. Of course, teams, we don't have a test server console, so players might not be as prepared as players usually. But the other thing is like loads and loads of changes being brought to the game right now. And I'm very excited to see what he is. I'm pretty sure that he is. Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. I mean, in previous seasons, I believe we didn't have any quarantine either. So lots of new things coming today. Like not just a new operator, but also what are the things that we are seeing? Like there's the nade rework. There is the mirror windows being extremely vulnerable right now.
5 seconds to go.
There is what was the other big one? There wasn't one more that I'm not
Attackers
thinking of
must
at the
locate
moment.
and defuse a bomb.
Do you remember, Nash?
Wait, I spaced out for a second trying to think about the new operator gadget. I didn't know what you said.
Oh, well, some of the bigger changes beside new operator, of course, mirror windows being extremely vulnerable right now.
Nades
The
now
nades
have
being changed.
uncookable, and like for anyone that doesn't understand nades, you can't cook them anymore. They have a 4-second fuse time by default.
Yeah.
Once a nade hits a surface,
Mhm.
its fuse time
Halves.
lowers by 2 seconds.
Yeah. So half.
It doesn't half. It
Oh.
lowers by 2 seconds.
Oh, right. Yeah. True.
Meaning, if it's already at like 2.5 seconds on its fuse time and it hits a surface, it will immediately explode.
Scanning for electronic devices.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, I'm not sure. I haven't thoroughly tested this yet. As far as I'm aware.
Yeah. So that will also mean that's like perfectly timing innate is still an option. It will be a bit more tricky, but you need to just think a little bit smarter. But technically, it is still possible, and you might still see innate goals that we used to see before.
At the moment, there is only 2 drilling projectiles in the game, and they are Callie's Lance and Ash's Breaching Charge, and they can now destroy bulletproof glass. So, for example, I'm not too sure how that affects any changes onto deployable shields, as the explosion should still destroy them, things like that, but they destroy glass.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure what's really going on with that sort of change. But speaking of what's going on, Eclezya are trying to get a push forward. They managed to get a kill in onto Saki, and that's going to really open things up for them as they want to try and get this movement through the Drum and Dragon side. This pick is going to be quite effective for them as they've managed to get themselves quite a lot of ground, but they've still got a deployable shield in the Valkyrie behind the mezzanine area, but she's going to fall off, go back up those main stairs and play a little bit further back than what maybe she wanted to before.
Tech is making a nice entry here, especially as the another player goes down, but then it's Loki with a response taking out defensive players now 4 versus 3. But the Tech is getting pretty close to the bomb site, getting ready to put loads of pressure. The Ace getting one more kill, getting another player getting... What? Okay, sorry, this is going too fast, but either way, it's a blue team win, which of course is Eclezya Esport, the team that actually needs these round wins quite well, as they are... of course, starting down 0-5. And this will be the only actual offensive round that they did get to play, and they made the best out of it. So with a 1-5 score, we're now heading towards the roll swap, where...
I'm going to say this once, because I guarantee 90% of the stream missed it. During that final kill that Ace got onto Amai, he also TK'd Brava through the wall.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't actually realize that one.
So...
No.
He TK'd Brava, watched IQ die, and then got the final kill.
Yeah. I actually just remember one of the other changes that I was trying to remember. Maestro having a third turret now in the pocket, which is actually pretty huge. I mean, just the amount of intel he can get right now, and technically also the bit of disruption by his destruction ability or even damage that he can do, that's pretty huge for an operator like Maestro.
This is less of a nerf on console as well as just the way recoil works. It just works differently. All it will really take on console is just a little bit of getting used to, but the 5.52 Commando now has more recoil as well, and also has lower damage. It was 47, it's now 43. It used to be, I can't remember the, I don't know the translation from 43 to whatever it would be, but with the extended barrel, the 47 would go up to, I think it was 52. So you'd be dealing like 52 damage per shot, and that was always really broken, but recently it's been changed. It has more recoil, it's harder to use the extended barrel, and the damage was nerfed to 43, so...
Yeah, and then there's one more change. Maybe some of our viewers with a sharp eye might have noticed as well, but we're actually having 2 observers in this game right now. The maximum is now 4, and for tonight we're having 2. So one observer mostly doing the eagle eye, and the other observer mostly focusing here on the players themselves. So another very welcome change, which will simply allow us on the production side to also give a nice little upgrade to our streams.
Also, I know we're in the middle of the game, but shout out to our production for being
indeed
fantastic. We've got Voight and Ogon just doing our production for us. Just like to give them a quick shout out because, you know, they're beasts. They carry the stream.
Yeah, lovely. Without them, no stream. Like, we can have casters, but if there's nothing to cast and nothing to broadcast, then there's nothing.
Exactly. Speaking of nothing, these teams are at a bit of a standstill right now, and
Yes.
we are seeing Flores drones try and come through, but not able to hit the mark as there is a mute jammer in the way. There has been a man clocked behind the dragon statue, and nade flies through, and well, you can't really mute a nade, it's not very electronic, but drone is dealt with, so is the shield, and they're going to be trying to take some engagements over the backside of this dragon statue.
Yeah, with half of the round now expired, attack is one man down. They need to find a way to do something better, because of course they have a nice point.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Doing, and which is more and more members going down on the side of Aspire. Things are not looking too great for them. A 5 versus 3 right now, with just over a minute remaining, and then also the Flores losing his life. Ace getting in loads of trouble, but still managing to stay alive a little bit longer, and even getting the kill, but losing so much HP in the progress. They now find themselves in the 4 versus 2 with Ace extremely low.
I am genuinely worried for the side of Aspire. This is really, really, really dominant from the opposite side. And I feel like even if it goes to overtime, they've had a really dominant performance in the one round that they played on attack. Their attack has been mostly hidden. And I think that could be a really determining factor when it comes to the later end of this match. If we do end up going to overtime, we see Eclezya on the attacking side. There isn't much preparation that Aspire are able to do with.
Reloading ammo.
50 seconds left. Attackers bomb the teaser has dropped. 10 seconds.
Scary game for the side of Aspire.
Yeah, Aspire, even with the gift of 5 rounds, they are up for a very big challenge, and losing the second round in a row right now, their first offensive round. Yeah, things are indeed getting a bit scary. They need, they have been given a huge gift, but they need to be careful and need to make sure they will find those final 2 rounds, because that's all they need to win this match. They are in a very good position, 1 round away from the match points, but they need, of course, they need to make sure that they actually get those rounds. And
This is way too early.
I mean, this is a 2-5 notch.
No, but it's way too... okay, the reason I say it's way too early...
Yeah.
It's 5... Okay, so this is Aspire's timeout.
Yeah, it is.
You're 5-2 ahead.
True.
And you haven't seen a full site rotation from the opposite side yet. This is the first site, or the second site, sorry. The second site they're playing. No, that was the first site, because it's now 5-2.
Yeah.
That was the first site you've seen them play on the defense. You've lost 1 attack, 1 defense, and now you're like, yeah, let's pause. Let's have a talk with our coach. This is, in my opinion, this is way too early. You want to at least see a full site rotation from the side that is now on defense. So at best, you go to 5-4 if you are going to guaranteed pause. And I mean, at worst, you end up not pausing at all, and you dominate. You win the next few rounds. It's like you haven't tried to combat against their secondary site. You haven't tried to combat against their tertiary site. You've only fought their primary site, and now you're pausing.
Yeah, it might just show that something is fundamentally going wrong on the side of Aspire. That they really don't have any faith in the way they're playing for those first 2 rounds. And maybe in that case, it might be the right moment already. They better fix it as soon as they can. And if this timeout helps them to fix it, then sure, that is a good call. But the question, of course, is what exactly is going wrong.
If Aspire get this round, I'll eat all of my words. But I'm genuinely unsure as to what the game plan is for Aspire here, because, as I said, you haven't seen the secondary or tertiary site. You've played 1 round of attack, 1 round of defense, and now you're like, let's hit a quick pause. I feel like the fundamental sort of problems that can sort of coexist among players are things that are very easily fixable between rounds. You don't need the time between, because you've got set strat books. You know what operators everyone's going already before you even look, right?
Yeah.
But the thing you have to consider for that sort of mid round or between round sort of 15 seconds that you get is just having your team leader go nuts on everybody, like your IGL just go crazy on everyone. Because if your IGL can go crazy on everyone, you're able to just
no way.
that's
No
both
way.
windows open. That's kind of insane. But if your IGL just goes crazy on everyone, you fix those fundamental issues because you listen to that man and you respect that man.
Yeah.
But I feel like pauses are more used for dissecting a strategy and giving yourself some time to do that, or even just rekindling that flame that you really just didn't have. Saki, the man to find the opening pick, onto Atto very early on. Atto's the man who gave us the pronunciation for his organization.
Yeah, you shout out to him indeed.
So
Otherwise,
shout out to him.
We would have absolutely struggled without him.
Exactly, and now we're seeing very aggressive plays from Warden as he tries to take an engagement across towards Geisha. Isn't able to find anything and now rotates back over towards the T-room door. Once again, not opting to peek as of this very moment, but there is a gridlock and a Thatcher on the opposite side. They do manage to find the kill from the Dragon window, but Mira takes the swing and finds a kill for herself on the back. Now, 3v4, Mira in a bit of a precarious position as she tries to move back towards the Dragon shield.
And Mira playing behind the shield as she lost both of her mirror windows early on due to the twitch. Not even the Ash charges needed, who now can deal with the mirror window as well. So playing behind the shield, kind of the same thing, but not as strong as those mirror windows. So now in a strong position, but she actually finds Future, takes him out. That's one more attacker taken care of, equalizing the man counts and bringing us to...
Reloading! Swapping mag. Loading mag.
Attackers covered the bomb. Attackers dropped the diffuser.
Player for Aspire is going to be Hookah. He has to find himself 3 to win out this round, and, well, AKA or Aka is going to be looking for that final one for his ace.
It's insane how Eclezya is doing so well on just working through this disadvantage that they started with. 3-5 score right now, 3 rounds on the board in a row, and Aspire struggling to get even a single round on the board till this moment. And I mean, just 2 more rounds is needed for Eclezya to equalize the score and bring us to the 5-5, which I mean would be the comeback of the ages, really.
I'd like to remind the people watching the stream, anyone that isn't aware or has just arrived, this match started at 5-0. The reason for this was because of, well, a late penalty, based on the amount of time that it took for the final player to arrive. But the fact that this match started on 5-0 and it's now 5-3, and we haven't even had, like, a full round yet. It's not even been like the diffuser's been planted. Every round has ended on kills.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
And that's where you really look at Aspire and start, well, you start asking questions. Like, you can opt to stay away from these gunfights. These players will play swings on you if they want the gunfight. And if you choose to opt away from these gunfights, you need to be able to play utility. Positions and then spread your impact across the other sides of the map. For example, a man on main stairs coming from below, maybe like the Ash or someone like that. That's a 3-speed, can be quite stealthy, coming up those main stairs and causing a bit of a problem on that side while you take the main push. You are stuck at the moment on the side of Aspire because you're taking gunfights. You need to be able to alternate that play style in order to keep it fresh for the enemy team, in order to keep them on their toes. And at the moment, it really just looks like the side of Eclezya want these gunfights. They're so ready and so warm to take all of these gunfights. Obviously, they lost out on the opening pick in the last round, but they're just playing so well that it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, indeed. And with the attackers now trying to find their way into the building, they're going yet for another offensive attempt. One thing that hasn't been going well for the past 2 rounds. But of course, Aspire looking to do this better. And things are starting out way better than before. 2 beautiful opening kills, taking care of that Jaeger and the Wamai. Both of the 2 catching operators for projectiles off the board. But of course, Wamai losing some of that utility. And with a 3 versus 5, they now still have 1 minute and 45 seconds remaining to do their job. And this is a good start for them.
Indeed, and the sledge with the head holes is going to be very good if they want to try and make their way in through the default plant sort of area. He manages to get an injure onto the site is Atto, as another player is very low on HP. They are going to be trying to get themselves the res, but the head holes once again working out for not the head holes, the wallbang working out perfectly once again for Hookah, as now it's going to be the last remaining player of Aka. Low down on the site, going to be playing around his camera.
Attackers have located a bomb. Attackers activating diffuser.
Over the first round, going the way of Aspire since the 5-0 start.
And that's also a match point for Aspire as well, as they now have secured their 6th point for this matchup. So the score right now of 3-6 with I need help again. Eclezya being Eclezya, thank you, being 3 points behind their opponent, but finally Aspire waking up and securing those points.
Well, on the side of Eclezya right now, I'm looking at these players and they're so confident and so ready for a lot of these gunfights. And there is a slight variance that happened in that previous round, and that slight variance was Hookah having a long angle, a stupidly long angle, and the first kill of which he got through that long angle was entirely just a wallbang. And you can chalk the first kill down to a little bit of luck. But overall, the second kill was, okay, we know this wall's open. We know they're using it from the far side of Drum, because that's where the kill came from. And, well, you just had a second player walk into it and lose his head, because he can now be seen through the long angle of the head holes, and he wasn't prepared for the man that was on the far angle.
Yeah, indeed, and well, luckily Eclezya managed to win that first round in such a long time. Or I mean, I'm saying, no, Aspire managed to win the round in such a long time, bringing them to this match point. This might just become the very final round, but of course we have seen how well Eclezya has been doing on this match so far, how strong they have been. 2 rounds being won by them, 3 rounds in total being won by them, 2 here on the defense. Will they be able to add some more to it? We will see and find out very soon.
Well, the thing is, the sites they won are their primary and secondary, right? They're 2 sites that you expect to win as a defender. And I think when it comes down to the side of Eclezya actually as a whole, even on their tertiary site, they were no slouch at all. They were so... potentially going to be coming out. Oh no, never mind, he doesn't have impacts, he has beepers. He got an injure onto the ace, and that would have been a really worthwhile kill to find, as well it would have dealt with a lot. Well, he's able to deal with a lot of this utility. He's able to deal with the shields, he's able to burn the magnets, he's able... get off and backing away, but I think his shield is still standing. Yes, it is. He's going to be playing around there. Saki has managed to get himself all the way in on this dragon side, but Ryu finds a beautiful kill onto Snaily, and now he finds another one!
At least the shield has now been taken care of, and the Ace gets that kill on the 1 taking him out and stopping his killing spree, but the damage has been done. It's a 4 versus 2 with Seki being extremely low on HP. Damage also being done on Aka there himself. But yeah, 4 versus 2 for the attackers is going to be a very tough spot for them to be in. They could win this round to end the match, but with this situation, this might be very difficult for them.
He just swung into like 3 people twice. Got away with it. And got a kill each time.
Attackers eliminated a bomb.
That's crazy. You saw the head of the man crouching around the head holes, but the Jaeger on the far side of Drum is going to be checked, but not dealt with as of this very moment. Takes a swing onto the Ace, finds the kill for himself, tries to get the 180, but Aka's there first, and, well, another beautiful round for the side of Eclezya.
Yeah, Eclezya adding a 4th to the board, just being 2 rounds behind on Aspire, which started out with the 0-5 score. So Eclezya is definitely doing well, but not there yet. They are in the danger zone as their opponent is on the match points, but they have made a good way so far and are on track to potentially bring this map to overtime. I just want to point out how valuable those laser gates were at the end of the round earlier. Both of the attacks were extremely low on HP, didn't have any projectiles remaining, so couldn't deal with those laser gates. So they were basically even stuck right there.
Huh. Well, with them being stuck there, they really needed to try and force the issue, and I think the heavy contention of the Dragon was probably the best way to do that, because you have a bit more of a wider area to play, you're a bit less restricted, and you can just kind of send it. But they just got really unlucky, and in the gunfights, weren't able to hit their shots. Ryu hit his perfectly, managed to secure himself 2 kills and just backed away. And now we're going to be seeing a pretty similar sort of situation again. And I think,
10 seconds left.
again, we're what, 5 rounds deep so far, and we're seeing players with like 4 assists, 10 kills.
Attackers are heading out.
It's kind of crazy that we're seeing this sort of number, sort of stat line advantage for the side that's down 4-6.
That's indeed very, very crazy. So yet another round with Aspire here on the match point, looking to end this map here for now, for once and for all. But of course, Eclezya trying to stop them in the tracks and doing their best to extend this map as long as they can to still have a chance to earn the map point here.
Well, it looked like Atto could have gotten a kill there if he really just decided not to play as safely as he did onto the window that he was spawn peeking, but decided to play it safe, didn't take too many peeks, and ended up not able to find the 2 kills that were presented to him, but very worthwhile maintaining his life, playing that safe game in order to not get caught out in the meantime. Thatcher going to be running past a bit of a danger zone as Gridlock shot a bit of fire over towards the Warden, but Ryu once again takes a swing and definitely doesn't miss as he secures that kill for himself. Ace going to be on the outside of that window, and speaking of Ace, one might be on the table here as he finds 2, gets shut down though by Future, and now we're going to be seeing a 3 versus 4.
Thatcher just uses the EMP to temporarily disable the laser gate instead of just throwing it through it.
I think so.
That's an interesting choice, because of course you can throw it just through the laser gate to actually disable it, and it will need a shot onto the gadget itself to reactivate it. So a bit of an interesting choice there. But hey, it's a 4 versus 3 for the attacking side. They need to get through, so whatever works to get them through there, that's what they need to do. And they now find themselves in Shrine and potentially also somewhere near Barrel to put some pressure onto the bomb set itself. With 4 players still playing there, they up to quite some resistance.
Well, resistance is necessary, as there is going to be a player inside of the house stairs reception, just kind of hovering around in the corner, but an angle here on towards the mirror isn't able to actually find anything. And I mean, they're both kind of waiting for the other person to make a move, neither of them really wanting to go for it, but Ace is the first man to maintain a position. Snaily goes down to Dayu, and he takes another swing and finds another one for himself. Now we're in a bit of a 4 versus 1 situation where there's blood in the water, the sharks are swarming, and well, the kill goes to Dark as they're going to be moving it even further forward into this game. 5-2 now. Or 5-2.
5-6.
5-6 now, sorry.
Mhm.
Coming into the potential final round of this match.
This is the third round that Aspire is on match point, and this will be the final one to actually close it within regular time if they want to win this match right now. Of course, they will still have a chance in overtime if Eclezya managed to win yet another round and brings this match to 6-6. But I can imagine that Aspire really would love to end this match right now because they were given 5 rounds for the opponents showing up late, and it will be it will be a shame to still lose the match through that. But hey, either way, Eclezya doing an absolute great job, blowing us away with their performance, and this match is a very interesting one to be watching.
Attackers need to locate
Well,
and defuse as many bombs
I
as they
received
can.
advice as a quote-unquote commentator, and that was to, well, say what you see. If you don't see, don't say it.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
And honestly,
Mhm.
I'm being completely honest.
Yeah,
This is a little embarrassing for Aspire.
yeah, it is.
They really, really need to step up their game. We know they're a better team than this. Yes, they came into the top 16 as the 16th team.
10 seconds to go.
But there is no way that you should
5 seconds
be
left.
this sort of disparaged, if that's the right word,
Attackers objective
in
Yeah.
defuse the
this
bomb.
sort of setting. This is unbelievable. This is the only site that you've won against them on the attack, and now you're
Mhm.
here again, and you have to get this win. If you do not secure this win, you're over.
Mhm.
You go on to the next map, and yes, it's your map pick, but it's also the worst map in your pool, statistically, from what we've seen.
Yeah,
And then also, you're against an Eclezya that is essentially, if they come out of this match with a win, just beating you at most 8-2.
you mean by
Instead-
Oh, yeah, I get you.
Hookah is coming through,
Ooh.
manages to find 2 for himself on a quick little 90-degree flick onto the Warden on the far angle. Now going to be using that Gemini replicator in order to make our way through on towards the house stairs reception. No frag coming in the way of the Jaeger as he does try and take an aggressive swing over towards the opposite side. Future finds one on Dayu, and now we're in a 2v5 situation where it could be a little scary for these defenders. Mirror spotted out on a drone, but still has the window to play around. The Mirror doesn't falter as she manages to find the kill onto the sledge. Now, Thatcher is still on the outside, Ram just opening up the ceiling. One of these operators needs to make a move.
And Aspire on a great track to potentially end the match here right now, but they need to be careful because if the 2 remaining defenders get a kill each, it will be an equal. And securing the map win here for the side of Team Aspire SFD.
Well, for reference, coming into the remainder of these games, that's a very cool little animation for
Oh, yes.
Thermite there. But coming into the rest of these games, I would like to make everybody aware that Love in the Dark is Yanis.
Okay.
So it is a rostered player of their team. I think he's just playing on an alt. Because he was having like connection issues on his main. I'm not too sure.
Okay, well, that would actually explain quite a lot. But hey, this is the first match being done for today. And of the first match being done, so I should say the first map being done today. Of course, this is a BO3 matchup between these 2 teams. So the first step has been made in the right direction here for the side of Aspire. But again, like we have said before, don't forget they were given loads of free rounds for this first map. So maybe the first map might not fully reflect to what these two teams are capable of. Maybe it even reflects even more what Eclezya is actually capable of, as they almost still managed to work things around. So I'm very excited to see what we got in store for this second map coming up, which is going to be Border, which is technically the worst map for Aspire. So unless Nash, you have anything left to say, we can just turn us to a quick break here.
Nothing really from me. I feel like Aspire definitely need to try and spin things into their favor coming into the second map, especially if it is going to be Border, as we have already confirmed. Something needs to happen for the side of Aspire here. They're not doing enough. And well, as I said, that's all I really have to say.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll be throwing to a quick break in about 5 minutes or so. We'll be back with the second map for today, which is going to be Border, potentially the final one, if it's up to Aspire. But I can imagine Eclezya will put up some resistance and potentially will bring us to this final map of today, or the third map, which then will be Clubhouse. So see you guys in about 5 minutes. And welcome back. After we have seen Aspire by SFD win the very first map of this evening, we are now going to get ready for the second map of today. Let's just quickly recap what happened in the first map, Nash.
Well, the match started at 5-0 in favor of Aspire. The reasoning for this, as we've already explained, I'll quickly run through one last time before we just never touch on it again. One of the players on the side of Eclezya was late. And as a late fee for the amount of time he was late, Aspire were given rounds. It eventually got up to 5-0, which is where we started the match. And Aspire were up 5-0, lost round one, which was Eclezya's only attacking round. Then the role swap happened because, round 6. And we had Eclezya go onto the defense. Eclezya won one more round, and rather than Aspire seeing a full site rotation or really doing anything sort of normal to sort of like feel out their opponent a little bit, rather than just pausing straight away, they paused straight away. So they had their conversation with either their team leader and or their coach, and things semi looked up for them, but the next round was still won by Eclezya, even though they found the opening frag. Then we went on to the tertiary site for the side of Eclezya. Eclezya then lost that round, which they went on to lose that site again in the layover after winning 2 rounds and getting it up to 7-5. So that's sort of where the game ended off.
Yeah.
And I feel like on the side of Aspire, there needs to be some changes made in order to be able to actually sustain a victory on a map that they are statistically worse on. And I feel like on the opposite side for Eclezya, they should be very confident going into this map number 2.
Yeah, definitely. Because technically Aspire has won the first map, but if you just look at the amount of rounds won, then Eclezya was definitely the better team. So they kind of hurt themselves by showing up late, and they deserve to lose because of it technically. But right now, this is the chance to make up for it. But yeah, just looking at how well they did in the first map, even though they still lost, there's a good chance they might do a lot better here on this map Border and potentially even win it. I believe the players are ready, so it means we can start with this map very soon. Let's just quickly remind you guys, we're going to Border. This is the second map for today. If Eclezya actually manages to win this, then we will go to the third map, which then will be Clubhouse. So that will be the decider map for today. But yeah, Eclezya, a team that we are expecting a lot from, previously known as Tracker Clan, who did very well in the group stage. Didn't do that well during this stage so far, but has a chance to make things right as playing against Aspire. So yes, there we go.
Here we go into the matchup. We are going to be once again observing, the observers. And the observers, once again, as I said before, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to segue onto shouting out the observers again. We have Voight and Ogon,
Yes.
who are on our little observing couch going crazy. And, we're now on the operator bands. Border, a map that can be played methodically, can be played very aggressively. One of those maps that very much favors intel. And I feel like that is going to be the target focus of the bans. Essentially, sort of intel denial, intel gathering, they're going to be like the operators you see go missing. So knock, intel denial, more than likely, I imagine something along the lines of maybe a Monty, or we'll see a wildcard ban of like some kind of hard breacher. Maybe a Ying as well, as she's very good at that sort of entry procedure, and also Osa can follow in the sort of ban list. But Ying is the one to go out. She's just a nuisance. And then for defenders, it's pretty much just Solace and Fenrir. But
Solace, Fenrir, there would be a chance of a Valkyrie, potentially a good operator map like Border. But I think the options are limited. Yeah, Solace, the most expected
it's all about
one.
it's all about the big five. I think the most likely of the big
Yeah.
five is the Solace and the Fenrir, but you also
Yeah,
have things like Mira, Valkyrie,
yeah, but
Azami.
yeah, but Mira, I can really imagine her ban rate dropping significantly with her recent changes. Like, she's so much more vulnerable. Yes, there's only two operators who can counter her, Kali and Ashe. Like, who can counter her like newly. Ashe being there quite often, Kali being one that you would specifically need to bring to counter Mira.
Yeah.
But I can imagine her ban rate will go down significantly because of it.
Oh, definitely. See, the thing is, specifically Kali and Ashe, being two very unique picks for the sort of drilling projectile. And I do believe it was genuinely an accident that these two operators seemingly lined up with what they wanted. But they both contribute to two completely different playstyles. A good Ashe is very close quarters, using that sort of breaching round to destroy utility rather than make holes and things like that most of the time. So you've got like a very close range sort of engagement style operator. And then on the opposite end, you've got Kali, who for mirror strats where you have like quite a long angle, or for a mirror strat where you have just in general any sort of long range capacity, you have Kali to deny that as well. So I think they're two operators that very much sort of go hand in hand for sort of mirror denial, I guess.
Yeah, indeed, and well, for that reason, we'd like to see Mira quite a bit less. She is being picked for this round so far, so we can potentially see her being countered. No Ashe or Kali being picked so far by the side of Aspire, but potentially, of course, they don't even know that Mira has been picked, so once they notice, they might switch to one of those operators, as it's much easier to counter with those compared to go from below, trying to pop the canister, or potentially getting a Twitch in the right direction to pop the canister. We'll find out soon. No switch happening yet, so Mira a bit more safe, kind of still as safe as she always used to be. But there's always still the other usual transfer that she needs to be watching out for.
Yeah, indeed. As you can see here, a very fun, neat little zero trick is shooting these cameras in specific places. You can get one right up in this corner here. This is something I stole from Coconut Bra a long time ago. And you can also get one right up here inside of the sort of bell tower type area. I'm not really too sure what the specific name of it's called, but it gives you full view of offices. It's got the perfect angle along the wall to be able to see both sides of it. It's just a very, very, very good sort of map for Zero now because of these like lineups that people have discovered. And generally, I think Zero is a very good operator anyway. So finding things like this just really allow him to just take control of certain parts of this map.
Yeah, indeed. And with attackers, trying to find a way in, they're mostly looking from some of the exterior parts. Quite a few windows, quite a few entrances, getting very close to the bomb sites. So they should be able to get close pretty early on. However, one of the operators that is kind of trying to stop them in the track from now on the eastern side is the Frost, and I think it's also the Legion right behind the wall. Yes, the Legion right there, but also here the 1 on the 90 corner with his shield protecting his position. So the attacks have quite a bit of a defensive lineup waiting for them.
Indeed, but Zero might actually be positioned unaware of Wamai coming in on the flank. I think he is currently outside and has rotated himself over towards that CC door, but still, Osa is left in the line of fire, not even looking in Wamai's direction. As
Frag grenade.
man jumps out the window, manages to find a kill onto him instead, and now we see Aka, victim of a grenade here as the grenade goes singing over the wall. Unable to find him. but doesn't leave him any less vulnerable.
And with this, we're now finding ourselves in a 2 versus 3 situation with 40 seconds remaining. Aka being aware of the position of the Oza, was blocking with her shield, getting damaged as she's trying to fall away, but perfectly pushing away that person towards Hookah, who took out Aka. Maybe C4 being thrown by Atto, getting a kill, but then immediately getting refragged there by Hookah, securing the first round here. For Team Orange, Aspire was already up 1 map, so good start for them.
I'm going to be honest, if Atto hit that shot, I'd have lost my mind. I'd have gone nuts. But either way, it is going to be round number 1 going the way of Aspire, which is something we didn't see previously, as they did end up losing 2 in a row before, well, 3 in a row, I guess, before they actually managed to secure themselves a round. This is a very different Aspire that we're seeing coming into this attacking lineup, but also the things they're doing at the moment, very commonly known things. I will tell you right now that the things Hooker is doing on Zero, 100% stolen from Coconut, bro. I stole them like 3 weeks ago.
But then, man,
It's like they're not new features. They're not new things that have been discovered. People know about these cameras. Very much the one that watches over offices. Less so the one in like the big sort of square area, but also that camera existing creates a lot of threat for defenders.
Oh yeah, surely.
Now the thing for them that they have to consider is they are able to play it as an attacker. But the question is, are they looking for it as a defender? I think when we see the side swap, if Eclezya do the same thing, we're going to see a fatal mistake that a lot of teams make. And that is performing a very basic strategy, watching the enemy team fall for it, and then deciding not to look for it yourself when the enemy team are like, oh, that worked, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, because especially since the shots are so early on the round, well, the defending side is technically still even preparing their setup. Like, you might not even notice those being placed right there. Actually, very nice spot there from the Brava drone, finding a pre-placed C4, which of course cannot be hacked. So in this case, it would be destroyed. But it's still a very nice pick. Yeah, just to make things a bit more safer for the side of Aspire.
Yeah, I was going to say, if that was able to be detonated by Brava, that'd be crazy.
Oh, yeah. Just imagine, instead of being destroyed, like, of course, you cannot give her the controls to detonate it later on, but, like, instead of being destroyed immediately, like, actually immediately being detonated, that would have been pretty cool, yeah.
That sounds like it could be a lot of fun, but speaking of a lot of fun, Buck seems to be having a lot of fun with this wall right now, as he has made a rotate that is capable of being crouched through. There is a lesion underneath this window. Is he aware? There is also a frost mat, so if he decides to jump in and shoot straight down, he could find himself a kill. But alongside that, it depends on who shoots first, where the trigger goes, and who's got the better aim. The man decides to stand, but isn't able to find the man, as he ends up getting gunned down himself as he throws a nade through the window.
Yeah, with the 4 versus 5, the attackers now find themselves in the lead once more, looking to add another point to the scoreboards. But of course, it's still 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining, and 4 defenders defending the bomb site pretty well. And Frost getting the first kill there for the team on Futures. Now back to an equal man count, with Carol getting in loads of trouble, getting taken care of as well. The 4 versus 3, 4 versus 2, as AKA gets a kill there on Saki. And now suddenly attackers find themselves in a difficult position, but still have a chance.
Indeed they do, both men standing on either side of this archives door entrance. Round number 2.
Yeah, this match is starting a lot more interesting compared to the first one, of course, where we started with the 0-5 advantage. Here, things starting out very nicely and evenly. Exactly what we want to see. Something I said several times yesterday. The whole Swiss stage is one big filter process where the best teams end up against the best teams. The lesser good teams end up against the lesser good teams. And that should result in very close matches, especially starting from week 3, where the filter process has been doing its work to the fullest. So getting close matches like this is exactly what we are hoping and wanting to see. And I'm very happy to see this match start with a 1-1 score.
Anyone that is unaware inside of the Twitch chat right now, Eclezya is what was Tracker Clan. Picked up by a new organization for anybody that did miss it.
So did Aspire.
Very interesting. Oh yeah, Aspire picked up by a new org as well, because they used to be Aspire by EOS, but now they're by SFD.
Yeah, correct.
So yeah, both teams picked up by new organizations, and I mean, really put in this game to prove their worth. Really see if they can bring themselves back into this Swiss stage. And well, one team that we kind of expected to be doing better than they are right now is Eclezya. Something you brought up before I kind of stole it and started saying it more. I'm basically the kid that just says your joke louder. Well, Eclezya came into the Swiss stage as Tracker Clan and were the 6th place of the 16 teams. And on the opposite side, we have Aspire, who was 16th of the 16 teams.
Yes.
So, realistically, the more formidable side here is Eclezya, yet the team we see with a map advantage is Aspire.
Yeah, it's Eclezya coming from Group C and Aspire coming from Group B. So they were in different groups back then, but this will be the first time for them to compete against each other. And so far, these teams seem to be pretty well balanced. Potentially Eclezya being stronger, but we yet have to see as the second map will prove us wrong or right for that. But yeah, we will find out very soon as the opening kill comes out from the side of Aspire, taking out Reju, and that's the first opening kill from the attackers already.
Almost a second as pre-fire's only slightly off for Carol there onto Giannis as Giannis. Placed on deletion inside of the supply room, but Saki able to find a second on the round onto the man that is going to be pivoting himself around that area. C4 comes out from Diuko, and that is going to be a perfect opening for the defending side to be able to get themselves back on equal footing.
Bulls are commonly played operator on a map like Border with so much self-destruction on the verticality, so very strong, a perfect environment for him to play in. Looking for a second kill with his C4 plays by another player, but unfortunately not finding anyone. But still, nice bit of damage done. The attacker still in the lead, or at least man advantage, and the Bulls being found again and taken care of by Casper. A beautiful kill there through the verticality. It's now 2 versus 4, double the amount of players left standing on the attacking side. Wreaking havoc there from above. So many self-destruction, making it extremely difficult and dangerous for defenders to play on sides. But the defenders, of course, still have a time advantage, and if they can hold on long enough, they can still have a chance to fight back the attackers as long as they can.
Indeed they can, but Hall's being opened directly above this Valkyrie now. She is a little unsure, a little scared, worried about what is to come, but Buck is deceased as Giannis finds one on the opposite side. And, well, Valkyrie has made her way over towards the metal stairs in order to play a little bit more aggressively on these crossfires. The diffuser going to be picked up by the man on the other side. The warden runs straight past, almost catches a flashbang as he makes his way into the supply room.
It was a very, very close call, but still 2 versus 2, 20 seconds remaining, so the attackers need to make them. Adding yet another round to the side of Aspire, the attacking team, putting the score on 1-2.
Very well played, but I'm still seeing a lot of uncertainty from the side of Aspire. Aspire, yes, in the lead, are still showing a bit of waverability. And the reason I say that is because they're unable to really maintain an advantage for a super long time. Like, they're not able to get themselves any big advantages at all. They always seem to end up in this sort of trade game, and most of the time, if we include last map, most of the time they end up losing it. And the thing that makes me very uncertain for the side of Aspire is the fact that they're trying to play so aggressive. And in the last map, that really didn't work to start with. And then the moment they started to incorporate a little more sort of strategy and utility, it started to work out better and better. But now we're looking at a map like Border, a map that even if one side decides to try and play this sort of utility heavy game, the opposite side can just play aggressive and it can work. But instead, we're just kind of seeing the side of Aspire manage to somehow run away with it, even after being in a 4 versus 2 that de-escalated into a 2v2.
Yeah, so it's really up to Eclezya to really show what they're worth and really show that they can actually do this. They need to win this map if they still want to have a chance to win and go still have a chance to win on the final map, the decider map, which is going to be Clubhouse. But before so, they need to win this map, and they're currently behind, of course. Often, so the stats are also limited. But yeah, they will need to win some rounds here to have the chance here.
Yeah, very limited statistics that we do have for Border, but as a whole, if we follow like just Border in general, it tends to be relatively attacker-sided, but can sort of change depending on the team and the play style, but Dio actually able to find one for himself. A little bit of a wallbang trying to come out of the IQ, but she doesn't quite realise that she's shooting into a door frame. And now, we seem to kind of rotate over towards the Warden to give him a bit of a helping hand. The Warden C4 already wasted a long time ago, and, well, he's still going to be opting to... I've just realised there's 5 C4s on the defense.
Oh, wow, yes.
They're really playing for this verticality.
I mean, with a Pulse and a Valkyrie available to the board, and also technically even that Mosley, there's quite a bit of utility to go from. And on a map like Border, I mean, I don't think there's many maps that are better for those verticality than Border. So if you want to see C4 kills, this is the place. And C4 comes out, does do a lot of damage in our future, but unfortunately does not secure the kill. Carol, however, getting killed at on Rugi. Taking out them Mozzie, but Carol with a beautiful double kill, securing his third for a round by taking out 2 more players, almost finding a fourth who's getting in very close proximity. I guess it's Atto, but 2 versus 4 situation.
Going to be trying to take the swing onto Ram, finds that kill, and now it's a 2v1. A 4 versus 2 ends abruptly as Atto and Giannis come out with 2 kills apiece and win out this round.
Beautifully played by Eclezya, a really nice comeback for that round, and yet again evening out the battlefields by evening out the scoreline. A 2-2 once more. This match is exactly what we're hoping for the second map of today. The first map that is fully being played by these 2 teams. So the first full and fair matchup, and it really shows that these 2 teams are pretty close to each other.
Well, the thing is, I was about to just say something that is completely contradicted by the operator lineup on the attack right now. And I was going to say that at the moment, if we look at all of the rounds that have been actually played rather than given, most of the rounds, well, every round has ended in kills, but most of the rounds have gone the way of Eclezya, meaning their gun skill is just at a higher level. Now, that's not to say that Aspire can't compete. What Aspire should be doing instead is bringing along these sort of utility, informational, like ground-taking operators. Like these operators, similarly to Monty, these shield operators. You can also bring along operators that are more focused on utility, like the Brava that they have only brought once. etc., etc. But we've been seeing a little bit of Osa, but with these narrow corridors, she's not really as effective as like a Monty would be. Like, can you imagine a defender trying to hold a 90 shield while a Monty walks towards them from east? Like, it's just not fun.
That's very intimidating indeed. Monty with his huge shield coming right at you, and likely a player being right behind him. That's something you do not want in that position, and you would likely fall back indeed. Monty, unfortunately, being dropped for the Oza, which, I mean, still can be effective, but like you said, not as effective as that Monty. Yeah.
Yeah, nowhere near. She's got like an iPhone Mini, like an SE.
iPad versus iPhone, yes.
Exactly. It's like the iPhone, but no, it's like the iPad versus the iPod Touch, bro. Like, we're just seeing an Osa run around with like some VTech Monty shield. She can still get shot in the toes while she's crouching, and instead is deciding to play her in favor of this Monty. Dayuko manages to find a beautiful little kill onto the man that's going to be sitting on the rotate. Doesn't quite spot the head of the other man, but did have a little bit of a sightline onto him for a second. Carol finds one on the opposite side. C4 goes out to try and find Carol, but the man dies before it's even detonated. Now we see Future alongside Hookah, one of the star players for this roster as of the last map, now looking to try and find these, well, 4 defenders.
Eclezya on track to gain the lead here for the second map of the day. No, it's not their map, it's Aspire's. For him to actually go for one of those mirror windows, as that's a new encounter, but we don't see that happening yet. But what we do see happening is Mai getting a kill there on the second left attacker, but Atto securing the final kill on the Ash and winning the round here for the side of Eclezya, putting the score on 3-2.
Well, something that's very good for the attackers is the fact that Ash's breaching rounds are actually destroyed by electricity. Something that a lot of people don't really consider, because you don't really see Ash contest against electricity very often. Now, her gadgetry is destroyed by electricity, and it's basically means that with this Cade on side and with the fountain mirror electrified, Ash can't actually do anything. Whereas Kali is quite the opposite. Kali is an operator that can use her gadgetry on electricity and is actually encouraged to do so, as her main sort of purpose is to deny that electricity giving properties of the defender utility.
Yeah, just a little boost that Akali perhaps could use with her fairly low pick rate, of course, given her gun being quite difficult to work with. But it's a nice little advantage there that she has over Ash, indeed. Nice to point that out.
I strongly believe that Kali is a lot more versatile than Thatcher is.
Yes, especially if you know where the utility is placed, then sure, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, not only is the utility there, but she also has the option to play aggressively with the very powerful SMG and essentially just a one-shot DMR.
Yeah.
If you're able to perform quick scopes.
Bolt action DMR, yeah.
Yeah, bolt action DMR. Then she also obviously has the option to play long angles, as I said. She has a very similarly working gadget to Thatcher that actually destroys electronics.
Not
only that, she has 4 instead of 3, and Ash only has 2. And even if you don't get like a sort of killing blow with the sniper onto an operator, it's like you're still doing most of their health if they're a 3-speed and you hit them in the arm, and then about half of their health if they're a 2-speed and you hit them in like the arm or the leg, and just under half if you hit them in the arm or the leg and they're a 1-speed. So it's one of those where, like, Kali, I genuinely believe, has a lot of potential to be one of the more powerful operators in the game. She's just a bit more difficult to play on console because of the way Zoom works.
Yeah, that's just what I love about Siege. So many ways to, like, so many roads leading to Rome, to Rome, like so many ways to accomplish things. With every,
5
just
seconds
like
remaining.
every outcome kind of being similar, but the way to it being very, very different. Like, of
Attacker's
course,
objective
like for
is
the
to
Kali,
defuse
you
the
need to
bomb.
find out where the utilities place. Kind of the same struggle you have with the secondary impacts EMP nades. The radius being way smaller than Thatcher's EMP nades, so therefore technically not per se being as good, but it can be as good as long as you do some proper scouting. So yeah, just really nice trade-offs within this game, and that's just what makes Siege so special.
Yeah, I believe like when it comes down to these sort of like Thatcher bans in ranked, I do believe that Kali should be the one taking its place because you've got these impact EMP grenades that are able to do essentially the same thing at a smaller radius than what Thatcher actually does. And then you've also got, well, Kali's Lancers, which have pretty much the same range, if not slightly more, and can also be used on more than just gadgetry. They can be used to open holes in walls to make sightlines, and even to just, you know, sound cue people, rather than having an EMP grenade that doesn't create that sort of tinnitus ringing. But Carol is able to find the trade from the opening pick, and, well, speaking of trade, here comes Ryu to find one of his own. Now we're going to be seeing these 3 attackers all positioned in the same place around offices, and, well, there's still no C4s actually in the pocket of the defenders. So we are just kind of waiting around for a gunfight to really take place, as they're opening up the ceiling above these attackers, above these defenders, but they've still got this pulse on side that's able to see exactly where they're sort of going to be coming from. He is playing a little bit aggressively under this hatch right now, trying to find the kill onto Future, as he took a little bit of a swing, sees some toes, is able to find it for himself instead of getting fallen off. And now, as Mozzie on the bottom end of the metal stairs, going to be coming over to try and help his teammate of Valkyrie, but instead having to go through Workshop, gets caught out by Casper on the rotate, and that's going to be the round over in favor of Aspire. Aspire equalizing the half at 3-3.
Yeah, 3-3 score. What kind of closer half would you want for or wish for a map like this? I mean, it's a fairly balanced one within ESA, slightly defensive favorites, generally a bit of attacking favors, but for this match, it's perfectly balanced so far. Now the big question is which team will do better on which side? Because of course now they're switching, and there's a good chance that, like, for Eclezya, the attacking side will be much more favorable, while for Aspire, maybe the defensive will be way more favorable. So yeah, we'll find out how things will go in the second half.
Indeed, we will. At the moment, we are just looking at these operator picks, and I mean, fairly similar. Like, they're not dissimilar to each other at all. We're going to be seeing the Brava on the attacking side, and pretty much the same lineup. I'm genuinely quite surprised we aren't
Defenders,
seeing
protect your bombs being defused by attackers.
an operator like Finka, but there she is. The 6th pick from the Yana onto the Finka is going to be there, because something that a lot of these operators sort of benefit from is, well, being able to play aggressive. And what other operator allows you to play aggressive than Finka? And a 3-speed. But
Yeah,
instead, we are going to be going back to that Yana.
Yeah, I think it was definitely one of those, but yeah, indeed, second thoughts happening. I mean, Yana is a great opportunity as well. Did Yana get her nades back with the change or not
5
yet?
seconds left.
No.
But I believe some operators have. I believe some operators have gained nades because they're technically
No,
not.
I know Capital gained DMPs.
Okay.
Home improvement time.
IQ gained nades. Osa gained nades. And doesn't have smokes anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Yana's still stuck with flashbangs.
Okay. Well, somewhat makes sense because Yana was incredibly strong with those, and I mean, is in pretty good place right now.
Well, we are just going to have to wait and see how effective these grenades are. We haven't actually seen any nade kills, but a couple of them forcing players around and out of position. None to actually completely isolate anybody yet. You see Brava being quite effective, managing to get that 90 cam and it being noticed quite well by the warden of Saki there inside of that 90 corridor on the shield. Gridlock considering throwing a nade over from the east side. I'm a little delayed on that call because I think she just threw it, but no, she hasn't. She's just waiting. She's waiting on that east side. She's kind of droning out that shield and deciding when she wants to go for it. But speaking of going for it, Carroll using the breach to, well, his own advantage as he takes the swing underneath and manages to find a quick little headshot for himself. And now we see Saki just hovering around on this 90 corridor, still waiting, trying to use the breach to his advantage this time as he tries to take the swing, isn't there, and instead catch the bullet to the noggin.
And nice attempt from the defending side to use the breaches of tech against themselves. But for now, it's a 4 versus 4, and we're approaching that final minute mark very soon from now. So the attackers, they have established some gun control, but still have quite a lot of work to do. Even still, some defenders playing downstairs at the moment, being located right now by the drone work that is being done. Love in the dark with a kill there on Casper, bringing us to the 4 versus 3. Attackers therefore gaining the advantage to the side of Eclezya. Another kill coming from them onto Carol, but Future immediately responding by taking out Love in the dark, and bringing us to a 3 versus 2 with the final 45 seconds.
Flashbang goes in, and
wow.
both of the kills very quickly found by the Yana here. Well, Yana and Gridlock finding one apiece, I guess. But both of the kills very quickly found. Very, very sudden. And we're just going to be going in with Eclezya in the lead, 4-3, finding the first round on their attacking half. Exactly the same as Aspire did.
Yeah, Aspire also winning the very first round on the offense indeed. But it's now Eclezya gaining the lead once more for this match. And that's, of course, exactly what they need as they're down 1 map point as Aspire won the previous map. So Eclezya on a good track to potentially win this map. But there's still at least 3 more rounds needed for Eclezya, as that's what it needs to win this match. Or map, sorry.
Indeed. And, well, at the moment, we are going to be seeing pretty consistent stat line across everybody on the side of Aspire. And even on the opposite side, even more so. We got 2 people on 6 kills, 1 person on 5 kills, 4, and then the top fragger of Ryu on 7. So, very even spread across both sides, but Aspire just having the disadvantage right now in that sort of kill count, and especially on the deaths. If you look at their top fragger with the 7 deaths, and on the opposite side you've got Ryu who's 7 and 4. It's looking a little dicey on the side of Aspire, but nothing they haven't come back from in the past, and they're going to be looking to do the same again.
With a 4-3 score, the attackers now will be looking for another round to add to the boards. They are now approaching the building and just looking for a way in and try to find out how exactly Aspire is defending and where their weaknesses are. Again, the wall here slightly being opened up with the mirror, because the mirror playing right behind it. The mirror window already seems to be popped open, so that's at least 1 less line of defense here for the defenders gone. But with the ace charge now coming out, the wall will be opened up even further. New entry points are created and lines of sights are being broadened up.
But Aspire, with the opening frag, managing to find that is going to be quite a detriment to the opposite side. Ace, Giannis, the one to fall, as they're not able to actually get any of these breaches open now. They're only able to work with what they've already got. So this 90 breach isn't going to get opened. And, well, any more breaches on the opposite side, if they do opt to go for... Or if they were going to... Oh, Jesus. Sorry, my energy drinks aren't working. If they were going to go for the opposite side with a nade, it wouldn't actually work out for them. But Ryu, caught in a frost mat, is having to self-res and, well, take it into his own hands, as he is still inside of CC and, well, not quite aware as Casper as he loses his head through the rotate. The other player of Dayu going to be all the way in through that CC side, and is going to be seeing the man through the rotate, tries to take the swing, both of them, as Future falls to very low HP, and Dayu's already there as he manages to pop the mirror but loses his life in the meantime.
Ryu going to be trying to go for the swing himself. Finds that kill, a double from
Ooh.
Ryu on the round after being caught in a frost mat. But now Carroll is the man to find the refrag, and Atta.
Attackers are activating the bomb diffuser. Defender exposed. Defender is defender.
Frag the round for the attacking side. Eclezya, now the first team to string 2 rounds in a row on the first part of their half.
Yeah, that gotta mean something. Eclezya really wanting to win this map so we can finally go, or so we can go to the final map of today, which will be Clubhouse. Eclezya just 1 point away from the match point and 2 points away from actually winning this match. So they are on a very good track. Winning 2 rounds in a row will definitely boost their morale and give them a bit of energy that might help them even further. But they are not quite there yet. They will now need to attack off Ventilation Room Workshop because that's where Aspire is choosing to go. And
I genuinely think if we go to Clubhouse, we will spend more time casting Clubhouse than we have on either of these 2 maps combined.
yes.
Because Clubhouse
is the
is
second
a
most played
slow map. It's a very slow
that what
map.
you mean? Okay.
Naturally,
Attackers
it's one of those where people just take a very long time to work through. That is a very neat looking shotgun skin.
I can't recall seeing this one, knowing this one. What does it even say? What's written there?
It says fake gun.
Shoots?
Shoot me in standoff.
Wow.
I've never seen that skin before.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait. Why are we on the same page?
10 seconds.
That's a
I
nice
was
one.
expecting one of us to have seen it, but no, neither. The Bolo charm on the
5 seconds
castle.
to go.
Oh no, it's Pulse, sorry, I'm lying. I'm losing my mind. I just looked at the UMP and guessed.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 2 operators who really have that UMP, so it's a 50-50.
Thing is, UMP was always, especially, well, this very much predates Siege, but in like Modern Warfare 2 times, the UMP was a very aggressive SMG.
Oh yes.
And I mean, we're seeing like, well, Siege take that to an entirely different extreme where you can play aggressive because Pulse is a 3-speed operator, but you're probably gonna die because you do like 2 damage per bullet.
Yeah, you just gotta aim for head and make those shots count because that's when the gun still can be quite effective. So that's what we hopefully will be seeing coming out. Attackers here grouping up on the southwestern side of the map, and I'm not quite sure. Did I just see someone lurking there in the corner of CC, or was it someone right below? I think it's right below. Yeah, right below.
Possibly. But we do see the Legion on the opposite side of this Kiva barricade. Alongside Azami, there to replenish it if it does get dealt with, but the goo mine's just being set up on the armory door. They've already taken control of that CC side, as you can see Buck standing on the table through the wall there. There is going to be this, I think, Ash or Ram standing just outside the armory wall. So they're just kind of waiting to deal with this Legion right now, I'm pretty sure. They're wanting to try and force out this Azami and Legion and get themselves in a position to really thoroughly attack this site. But Atto going to be making a move underneath, almost catches line of sight. Fight is there for the man underneath, and he is going to be looking for more.
Those with the scanner out trying to find more people from below. Still has CC4 in the pocket, so can do an incredible amount of damage, especially as the attackers are still trying to get full top floor control, which they haven't established yet, with Casper still playing there. But the Pulse now finally being taken care of by the Buck. It seems like the attackers have actually now decided to leave the top floor for what it is, but they need to be careful because as long as Legion is playing upstairs, he can use the verticality in their advantage. It's still a 4 versus 3, but Buck is extremely low, but there's still a good chance for the attacking side here.
Well, as we see, the players taking their engagements, making their way in and onto site. Ryu finds one more as he's now on a double for the round, and the Legion above gets dealt with very quickly as Aka is going to...
15 seconds remaining.
He takes the swing, finds the head, and is going to be dropping some teabags in order to really sink that one in, as we are going to be on match point.
That's mad.
7-3.
That's match point. Indeed, a 6-3 score. That is match point here for Eclezya, who are just looking for one more points to end this match with a 7-3 score and win this second map. That would bring us to the final map of the day, which is going to be Clubhouse. But for now, they need to win that final round, and they will have 3 rounds to do so. Because, of course, their Aspire is 3 rounds behind on them, and that gives Eclezya a bit of a room for error. Like, they can't allow to lose 1 or 2 rounds before they secure the final round. But rather sooner than later, of course, as Eclezya doesn't want to risk things and just wants to give every bit of energy that they have in store to end this map as soon as possible.
Well, definitely so. Something that is very, very much a factor in a match like this. As someone that has, well, come from TF2
Defenders, protect your
as a
bombs
player,
being
I've played
defused by
best of
attackers.
fives. They're not fun. Like, especially in TF2, like the maps can the maps are limited to 30 minutes, so
Okay.
they can be quite a bit shorter than some siege games.
Uh-huh.
And
Attackers have
well,
located a bomb.
something that does generally happen in like even best of threes and is quite common in best of threes is burnout, and you will have at least sort of one player on either side in a 6 versus 6 situation in TF2 that will just kind of not want to play anymore after the end of map 2. And
5 seconds to
if that mental preparation isn't there for it to go all the way through 3 maps, then you definitely could see a player fall off drastically in the final map.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like even with teams completely, like last season, we have seen teams did it so well in the group stage, but then did terrible with best of threes, or completely the other way around. Like it's really also a bit of a preference, I guess. Like some teams need a whole map kind of to be waking up and warming up enough.
Well,
But
with these two teams in particular, they're going to Clubhouse as a third map, and Clubhouse is distinguishably a very slow map.
Yeah.
And that means, because it's a very slow burner on the actual board itself, they're gonna struggle to really find like any sort of semblance of grace and aggression that they were able to find in these maps so far. But
oh, wow.
well, Carroll was the first man to fall at the top of the metal stairs. For anyone that didn't quite see it, Atto was the man to find that kill. And then since then, the ball has been rolling for the defenders, and they've been able to secure themselves 2 on the back. Well, 2 more come the way of the attackers, and well, it's just Legion and Valkyrie left to deal with Buck and Flores.
With the man count now evened out to 2 versus 2, make it a 2 versus 1 as Seki is found.
Kill, and that's going to be map and, well, not match just yet, but definitely map over in favor of Eclezya. And, well, now we're at a map apiece, and we're going to see you on Clubhouse.
Yeah, basically now going to play a best of 1 between these 2 teams as the score is now evened out. So these previous 2 maps don't even matter anymore in terms of their score. It's all coming down to the final map. But for now, Eclezya has been doing very well on working their way back after losing that first map, potentially due to their penalty that they received with those 5 rounds. But yeah, they've really shown that they're very much capable of winning maps here. And Clubhouse it is. That's going to be the decider for this map or for this match. And what are we expecting of it?
Well, Clubhouse, very slow burner. It's one of those. I've said this several times. It's a map that takes a long time for the simple reason that the aggression can be there, but it's not going to be there in every round because a lot of the runouts are very generic. The only runout I really know of that isn't really utilized A on console and B in Europe, is the strip run out onto the rappel from shipping dock side. You've got that door on the far back, and you can. A lot of people know about the running out of the door that's over towards the main entrance side, but the other door you can run out and kill the people that are rappelling up the side of the building, and that's a very common place to spawn, especially for the jacuzzi side because there's less spawn peaks that can go on there. And that's a run out that's only really used, and this is kind of crazy that I have this statistic, it is only really used in oceanic play.
Okay, interesting, Lily. Yeah. Okay.
And it's something that does work and is quite effective, and I really hope to see a lot of teams actually utilize a little more, but it all just kind of comes down to the way they play the game. More than likely there's going to be a lot of sort of maybe Monty in dirt and like slow orthodox pushes that are just gonna be very, very simple for us to dissect and analyze.
Well, we'll find out how things will be going on Clubhouse in a short time. We're just going to have a little break of about maximum 5 minutes here, and then we will play the final decider map of this matchup between these two beautiful teams. So don't go too far. Stay close. We'll see each other in a bit. And welcome back, everyone. After a short break, we're getting ready for the very final map of this BO3, the decider to decide once and for all which team is actually to be sent home, getting eliminated from this competition, or which team will get a second chance in week 4 of the Swiss brackets. Nash, Clubhouse. It's
I really dislike casting Clubhouse.
I know.
I everybody knows this. I think the map's too slow. I don't enjoy it. A meme from TF2 that's a very niche reference is 7 Slow Die, which is a copy pasta made up by the team that it was used against. And we're looking at a map where we have two teams that, well, one of them's clearly struggling. And we kind of just see Eclezya shooting fish in a barrel. They're just having fun with it. They're not really doing too much to the point where they're like really straining or pushing the boundaries of their strategy or their actual sort of like general play as a whole. But they're doing enough to the point where they're able to come away with like a 7-3 victory. The one time in this best of 3 so far we've seen Eclezya struggle was when they were down 5-0. And they kicked and bled and beat every single odd that we ever expected. We expected that to be like a 2-round match. And it went 7-5.
Yeah.
Obviously in favor of Aspire, because now we're on map 3. But it went 7-5. They secured 5 rounds before, like, they went out kicking and screaming in that first match.
Yeah.
And we're now looking at a map 3 where it's completely slowed down, and Eclezya on the defense are given freedom to just run away with it if they're able to.
Yeah, because if you look back at played rounds, like it's definitely Eclezya winning more of those, because of course those 5 rounds were not really like, it's not really something we can really go from as those were given away for free. So Eclezya definitely showing to be a bit of a better team here, but this final map, of course, is going to decide whether that's true or not. And Clubhouse is going to be a very, very good test for these two teams. Of course, for the final map, it wasn't pre-decided which sides the teams are going to be playing on, and that was decided based on the round difference. And in that case, Eclezya had the better round difference. So they got to decide where they wanted to start, and they have decided to start on the defense. Let me just quickly check where the side of Aspire, of course, can choose then the overtime starting side in case overtime happens, and they also decide to go to defense. So definitely both teams favoring the defense here, but it's Eclezya getting it first.
Well, into the game we go, as we are going to be looking at this beautiful little map trailer here. As we see, once again, I'm going to call it out every time I see it. We see the new bomb chassis because it took like 4 seasons, maybe longer, for them to actually be implemented into these graphics. But
Oh yes,
it's nothing to do with like us, because I'm pretty sure the graphics that we use are like yoinked, because most of them are for like most leagues. But we are going to be going into the operator ban phase, and well, on the attacking side, one of the main ones you really see a lot of the time is, well, Monty. Here he is, the big condom himself, is going to be banned off, and we're going to be seeing the second attacker ban is more than likely going to follow suit with something like a Ying, something that plays quite aggressive and can be quite a disruptive operator. There's the Ying going off the board. And on the defense, well, it's just Solace and Fenrir. Fenrir for Rafters, because Azami and Fenrir on Rafters is annoying, to say the least. And then Solace, because it, like, let's be realistic here, it's Solace. Just get rid of her. Put her in the bin. Who cares? Just do what you did with Clash. Just please remove her from the game. Nobody likes Solace. The only people that like Solace are Warden mains that want a 50-round mag. No one. Just get rid of the operator. And now we see Fenrir as our final ban. 100%.
Well, let's find out in a second, and it's indeed Fenrir. Yeah, predictable as ever, like we have already seen so many times. But yeah, Fenrir is going to be the final operator that we won't be seeing for this final map of this match. And these are operator bands that we will go with in this case.
Well, looking at how it is so far, we are missing a player on the side of Eclezya due to some internet issues. But he keeps coming back and running away again. Eden is going to be that player as now we move closer and closer towards this round number 1. There is still 12 seconds left on the clock, as it's now ticking down once again. And well, going to that basement church and church, and I almost call it armory. It's always been called armory as a call out.
Yeah.
But, yeah, going to that church and arsenal bomb site as the primary for these defenders, and I think that's a really good decision. It's one of those sites where, I mean, I argue this all the time when people say Oregon's overplayed, but you've got to remember as well, Clubhouse is the only map in the map pool where one of the sides has been played that much that it's not worth playing anymore as a defender.
And then you're talking about CCTV cache, of course.
Yeah. And it's like, that's the reason why we're seeing a lot of these teams, more so on console than on PC, go for this basement site as their primary. We do see CC played a little bit on PC, but that's simply just because of like the mechanical difference between the two platforms. Something that is very, very underrepresented in these sort of showings. Because the game is played differently on different platforms, because it feels different, and you have to play it differently because of the control difference. And well, at the moment, as I said, we're seeing a lot more basement, church, and arsenal from these more console side, but it is also going over towards this PC side as well. And well, it's a very good site. The secondary is usually gym bedroom, but can also be that bar stock that is now, well, bar stage. And well, we usually see that kind of be interchangeable between
the teams, and it really just depends on which team's playing at what time and
Mm-hmm.
what they particularly prefer.
Yeah. Attackers currently making a pretty quick entry. I see currently actually 5 defenders basically playing inside of the bomb site or very close to it. So Attackers getting quite a bit of free space to set up their attack for now. They will soon be starting opening up those hatches, doing some soft destruction to make it very difficult for the defenders to play on site. And there are currently no defenders there in place to actually kind of resist and stop them from doing so.
Exactly the case, as well. We are seeing just a bit of drone work go out towards this Adams side. It is going to be Warden of Atto, spotted out by Carol, as Carol's now going to be trying to get this blue hatch open. Does succeed in doing so, as Warden's probably not going to push much further than that, Adam door. And indeed he does not. The Thatcher takes a bit of damage from the buggy as he runs past, but overall this buggy just going to be there literally to open as many angles as possible. The fact that they're not bringing along the buck is a little bit of a detriment because you can get angles directly into sight using buck, and a lot of people seem to be underutilizing that on a lot of these attacks, but instead this Ram is going to be doing a relatively good job at keeping these defenders, well, herded, as they're now just going to be huddled up around this blue side and church. But Warden going to be watching a beautiful little angle there up onto the stock door to see if he can catch anyone out as they try and make their way through, but nobody actually going to be there as of right now. Finker doesn't quite know about the Wamai that's made his way back up onto the flank, and now we're going to be seeing 4 players over towards the Moto and Armory side. Going to be dropping down, seeing if he can get himself all the way through. Does take the mirror down, and that's going to be one pick for these attackers to actually try and play off of. They do a bit of damage onto the man that's going to be sitting around on generator, but kills flying either way. People making their way all the way. The diffuser.
That was a very interesting gamble there to the end. Like, deciding to go off the defuse and trying to get the kill, almost getting the kill even as he pointed in the exact right direction, when unfortunately it was just a little late, and just a little bit too late and slightly off. Nice attempts. Like, I wonder if he went for the diffuser, did the defenders actually know where he would have been? I mean, it's just speculation, but a nice attempt there from the attacker.
Yeah. Well, the grand scheme of things, we are seeing a very, very scary version of Eclezya, or Tracker Clan, as they were previously known. And it's looking worse and worse for Aspire as time goes on, even still delaying the load-in times, giving people a little bit more time to talk, because, well, his connection isn't exactly doing great right now.
Yeah.
Warden, speaking of not doing great, trying to figure out how to place this shield on the bed, does figure it out in the end, and, well, very weird shield configuration, something that isn't quite often seen, but he is going to be moving it in, well, instead of having it there, he wants it to try and get it a bit closer to the window, and does succeed in doing so. Not really a grand amount going on. Thank God for, well, the no TK during prep phase, because Jaeger would have lost his legs there.
Yep. Thanks, Ubisoft, for that one. Yeah, it's CCTV. It's Gym Master Battle, one of my favorite bomb sites in the game in general, with the layered defensive setup that you can really do here. You can really see that the defenders are mostly focusing to extend all the way towards CCTV and cash, trying to hold back the attackers as long as they can from their position. And when things get too hot, they will be starting falling back towards construction, office, and the bomb site itself. And this is a really nice way to slow down the attack and really burn through some time. And it's something I really love about this bomb site.
Well, Saki making his way all the way through on this lower garage side. Carol has managed to get himself the breach open onto CC and Cash. Going to be trying to make his way through on that side to really apply pressure onto the construction area. But with these players still hanging around inside of Cash, they are going to be a little unsure as to where to go next. Hookah going to be
sneaking his way up these stairs right now is Wamaya, where takes a swing, finds the kill, and that's going to be perfect for these defenders now. There is a man coming through the breach. Wamaya left unaware as he does get quite close, manages to secure the kill for himself. Deo finds the man on rafters, and now we're going to be seeing a 2 versus 5. This could be the first flawless round of the 3 maps, and it's coming from the side of Eclezya.
Eclezya, just 2 attackers left standing, and we're
Oh,
both
no.
woo, not even safe on the rooftop. Indeed, a flawless round as predicted by Nash, but Wu predicted 2 people dying on the rooftop. That's something that you just don't see every day. A beautiful play here from the side of Eclezya Esports, and starting this map out with a nicely 2-0, something that we haven't seen yet today, except the 5-0 though.
Well, it's a little insane that we're seeing such confident ego peaks come out of Ryu right now. Obviously, yes, 5 versus 2 situation, you're going to be confident, but coming into a situation like that against a team that already has a map up against you, you really can't be taking risks in the early rounds. And, well, he thinks otherwise, taking that big risk onto the window, securing a kill for himself, and then taking the ego peak onto the man that, well, the only information he had was audio. And, well, it succeeded for him. Now we're on this bar stage site.
Yeah, bar stage site, a bomb site that used to be unplayable for a very long time, or at least very difficult to play on. And even though it has been reworked quite some time ago, it took a bit of time for teams to find the confidence to actually play on this map, up on this bomb site. And also the CCTV gas being reduced in popularity, that definitely played a role. But finally, we're seeing it more and more often. And it's actually a very interesting bomb site, with the top floor being so valuable to either team. That's also why we will see so much pressure here from the defensive side to hold the top floor as long as they can easily fall back from it and defend the bomb site from above as well. But likely we also see the attackers having this as one of their focus points later on.
For anyone that's unaware of why this map was undefendable, or why this site was undefendable before the change, was because the B-bomb, I'm pretty sure, was the one that used to be inside of stock.
Yeah.
Meaning you had a soft wall between both of the sites. And, well, as much as that's not a big deal, there is other sites that do pretty much the same thing. The thing about it is the bombs are so far away from each other that you're left in a position where, as a defender, you have to defend cache, but you also have to defend bedroom. You can't fall off of either one. You have to defend both of them, and there's no verticality onto the stock door.
Yeah, and then of course
So-
the door, the door from stock.
You have to have a minimum 3 people upstairs, and then the 2 people you have on site, well, you have to have 3 people upstairs for refrags, but the 2 people you have left on site have to be super aware of the backside of bar where the hookah table, not the hookah table, the billiards table, is, and where this player below inside of stock was just then. Because it's like, you can plant just inside the stock door. Obviously, we're seeing players fall, so I'm not going to ramble for any longer, but Ryu, now 7-1, finding his first death of the game, but 7 kills in 2 rounds is insane.
That's indeed a very, very valuable player for the team so far. We're currently on a 2-0 score, and we're now the 1:30 mark, just passing by. It's a 4 versus 4. Attackers still are trying to establish some control, have control over CCTV and cache, but need to still establish further control. Like, they still need to push into construction, clear out office, and make a way towards the bomb site. And this will be a very difficult task for them to have the top floor control, and then they still need to focus on the bomb site itself, which is right below them. So big task ahead, and they need to hurry up in order to make it work.
Well, speaking of making it work, the thermite charge goes crazy as it looks like they're trying to opt for a very, what are the words I'm looking for? A very Oregon-style plan, with the Osa placing down her shield on the stage side to try and get something, but a beautiful shot from Aka over the shield finds Flores, or not Flores, finds Thermite or Twitch, I don't know, one of them. Either way, they're dead. And now we're going to be seeing 1 man upstairs, 1 man downstairs, Flores only here to hold off the verticality from the hatch, but instead goes down, and now it's just going to be Osa in this, well, 1v3. And a beautiful shot from Akko once again secures that kill, and, well, they've gone through a full site rotation, and it's 3-0.
3-0 indeed for Eclezya. A huge turnaround for them. I mean, a turnaround, an improvement compared to the first two maps. They were playing great on those maps, but are even doing better now. And on this final map, it's exactly where it matters the most. This is a very good sign for them, and being 3-0 almost signals that they're seemingly unstoppable. Aspire needs to start winning rounds anytime soon. If they wait too long, it will be all over, and they will be sent home.
Indeed, they will. Sent home to, well, where they're playing the game from. But either way, we are going to be seeing the final 3 rounds of this defensive half. A full reloop of more than likely the sites they've already played. And, well, we're back on this Church Arsenal bomb site with essentially the same setup.
Same setup. If it works, then sorry.
Sorry, I was just rambling. That was the ADHD. Carry on.
I was about to say, like, if something works well, why not try it again? And that's exactly what Eclezya is doing. The only advantage there for Aspire is that they did get a bit of a taste of the defensive setup and kind of know what to expect. So they should be able to counter things a little bit better. But given how strong Eclezya has been playing, it might still be a very difficult test for Aspire nonetheless. So Aspire getting ready to go here for their 4th attacking round after losing 3 in a row. Will they continue the losing streak, or will they finally be able to break it?
Something I'm not sure if anyone's noticed, but we can see through mirrors now.
Oh, they finally fixed it, really?
Yeah, like, we've been able to see through mirrors for, like, the last 3 maps, and no one's said anything.
Yeah, like, it was something that wasn't written in the initial patch notes. Maybe it was written, like, in the Adamantium from today. I haven't been able to fully check it, but, oh, that's such a welcome change.
Oh, we can't
no.
in the 3 cam, but when you're on the defender cam, I swear to God, yeah, there it is.
Okay, luckily, okay. Very happy to see this problem is finally fixed because it was a big pain in the ass.
We're not just staring at a blank mirror, like a black mirror, like when we're on the defender cam anymore.
Yeah, there were quite a few.
Staring at a wall.
There were quite a few spectator problems. Also, like sometimes the players having the wrong colored outline. So, like sometimes.
Oh, that annoyed me so much.
It scared the shit out of me.
I was like, oh my God, some guy's like in the middle of a site, and then I'm like, no, he's not. It's just a defender.
Yes. So very happy that the patch finally came out after being delayed for 8 days. That is, and so far, I mean, we haven't seen too many things yet based on those changes. Still, the new operator not being picked a single time yet, and nades still. I mean, not having the nades. The nades is I think the biggest change that we're noticing so far. Not having as much impact.
Ubisoft totally wanted to drop the patch on Tuesday because every single like season update that's come out has been like on a Tuesday. They totally wanted to drop it on Tuesday, but I feel like it was literally just like to prove a point that they didn't, because so many people like for example Varsity on his like stream and stuff were just saying that like, oh, it's gonna drop like next Tuesday. Because they always drop it on a Tuesday and like they're not going to delay it for longer than a week, blah blah blah. And it's like they just dropped it like on a Wednesday out of nowhere. Yeah,
that was a bit of a surprise, but also surprises Eclezya not doing as well for this round so far. Few of their members are already lost alive, while still every single attacker on the side of Aspire is living at this point. And with 45 seconds, the time is running low, however. So the members of Aspire need to work their way into the monster very soon and need to go for the execute, but they are in a good position to do so in terms of the man advantage. But with the main kitchen hatch still not open up and still being tricked, things are going to get very tricky. Somehow the impact did not work well, however, so the hatch has now been opened up, I believe, or will be opened up, so the attackers might have a good chance here.
And there's the Ash charge taking effect onto the mirror window. Nobody spotted that, but it's going to be a trade from Casper onto Ryu. And, well, we're just going to be seeing Future make his way all the way into the site. Double clutch from Eden on his first map back. This man was out for the first 2 maps in place of Giannis, with Giannis in place, and
What?
now is back. And his first map in on round number 4 drops an incredible 3K clutch.
I have a very big question.
Yeah.
Most of the defenders who suddenly died towards the end of the round died in armory. Mira was known to be in church. Why didn't they go for the plant in church of an armory?
They got
Arsenal.
hungry for kills, realized
Yeah.
the time he was too close to the church rotate, and he decided
Yeah.
to go for the plan.
So some very poor choices that are being made by Aspire, which basically cost them the round, which was meant to be theirs. They were in such a good position to actually win that round, win their first round, and finally break the winning streak of Eclezya. But then, yeah, they made a very poor choice and unfortunately threw it all away. And now Eclezya finds themselves on a 4-0 advantage.
It's unbelievable that they allow that to happen. Because you can chalk it down to many different things like luck and general, like you can say it's luck, you can say it's skill, you can say that it all just kind of like happened because like people were in the right place at the right time. But either way, it's such a big misplay from the side of Aspire to just go hunting there. Because they already had the man on the mirror window inside of the Arsenal site actually securing the plant, and then he decided to come off of the plant to instead go hunt the kill with his teammate because they thought the live info from the downed player inside of church was going to be enough for them. And he came through the blue rotate, unable to stand, and didn't quite get the pre-fire off. Instead caught a bit of damage and was forced to plant because of the time, and that was the round over, done and dusted. And we're seeing an exact role reversal of what happened at the start of the previous round.
Yeah, indeed. Previous round it was Aspire getting the first 2 opening kills, and things seem to be starting very well for them. But this round is going even worse, and it seems to be all over for them as 2 members already lost their lives, and just Casper and Saki, the last one standing. The Jaeger being extremely aggressive, but getting punished for it. But at the same time, another attacker falls to the side, and it's all coming out. Find the final player, ends this round in a very short amount of time, and this is the 5th round going to side of Eclezya, putting them on a 5-0.
Yeah, the difference between the 2 rosters right now is actually kind of incredible. We're seeing 5-0, and where Aspire started the first map on 5-0, Eclezya have crawled their way to a 5-0, clawed every single step of the way in order to get here, and now are only 2 rounds away from a complete and utter whitewash in the 3rd map.
Yes, this score reminds me of how we started the very first map of today, which was a 5-0, but then reversed in the favor of Aspire, and now it's Eclezya. Just really making up for showing up late and for the penalty they received, and really showing that they are, in fact, the better team. They only need 2 more rounds to fully confirm that. But yeah, with a 5-0 advantage, I don't see Aspire getting any close to a comeback.
Well, as we look at the scoreline at the moment, we are going to be seeing a very aggressive lineup on the side of the defense. More than likely, this one Mai going to continue to play aggressively, as aggressive as he has been, and Atto soon to follow. Dayu, I imagine, more than likely, with the aggression that they've been showing in the previous rounds, is going to be using these Echo drones to try and gather information live for the defenders that are going to be running out and paying super close attention to the positioning of the attackers for them. Now, the players like Aka and also Eden, who are these 1-speeds, are more than likely going to play relatively aggressive, but generally just going to play swings. They're going to play very conservatively. They'll probably sit around like on the site or on the mirror window upstairs and basically just be turrets. Not really move too much.
Right, and oh no. One player from Aspire unfortunately disconnecting from the game. Not entirely sure what's happening there, but Aspire was already in a very tight and difficult situation. Lost one of the players. I'm not sure how well the player was doing, but it's certainly going to hurt their offense as they are also losing quite a bit of utility with it as well. A 5 versus 4 already in the favor of Eclezya, with Termite did opening up one of the walls, but still a load of work to be done for the attacking team.
Indeed, as now Ryu hanging around on these rafters, just seeing if he can find any of these attackers as they over-aggress maybe a little too much. And, well, the RX below is going to be completely uncontested for the time being, but the mirror window open on the upstairs of construction. A little bit of an engagement there between Saki and his counterpart, but it was the Oryx to actually find 2 kills for himself, as now he's going to be on a little bit of a kill streak. Only two remaining players on the attacking side that are going to be able to fight back, and one of them falls. Now, Echo's already there, ready and waiting with a bearing 9 in hand, and, well,
6-0.
6-0.
Yeah, a flawless half here for the side of Eclezya. Beautiful, beautiful for this final map. Really showing their dominance and their strength. And that's also match point achieved by them. Just one more round is what they need to be victorious and to stay alive, at least for one more week, and send Aspire home. Aspire needs to win 6 rounds in a row to deny this match point, which seems very, very unlikely. And Eclezya, of course, in a very, very favorable
New operator,
comforting.
wait.
What?
New operator.
Woo!
We see him.
Turbaro? How do you say him? Like his name? Turbaro?
Capital 2. Captain Man. I don't know. Tuberaro.
Turbaro, I think, yeah.
Tubbo, the Minecraft YouTuber.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Yeah, but either way, like I said, Eclezya now in a very good position. They have not too much to worry. There's room for errors.
5. Sorry, I'll stop now.
Gosh, man.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but either way, we will see some nice action from the new operator. Has a choice between the PBX, I believe, and this DMR that he's currently holding that you might recognize from Maverick. So 2 beautiful guns, but with of course, the DMR technically being the strongest gun as long as you can control well. A little bit tricky on the controller, but as long as you have a fast trigger finger, you will just do fine, and then you will be able to do
Think about Maverick's DMR though as well. As Maverick's DMR is demonic. It is stupid. Like, it's one of the better DMRs in the game.
And they gave it to a defender.
And they've given it to a defender with a 1.5x. Like, it's so Jova.
Yeah,
You don't understand.
And it's a 2-speed, 2 health, or?
I think so. I think 2-speed. It's just a stupid gun to give to a defender. Like, I feel like this is going to be broken. Obviously, I'm not exactly impressed about another MPX on defense, but it's unbelievable that they go, yeah, the Maverick DMR seems fine. No, it's not. It's such a scary gun to have on a defender.
Oh yes. Yeah, for now we will be waiting to see him in action. I would love to see that utility being used because, of course, it is a very versatile utility. Like, kind of 2 functions, like information gathering being the lesser function, but the second one just denying electronics, and it will freeze the electronics for a certain period of time, and gives the defenders a bit more time to respond to those, which is very nice. We actually see it coming out, and it was just a little bit late to deny those Hibana pellets, unfortunately, as they just went off and the hatch have been slightly opened. But potentially a next one could actually help out and close the hatch, keep the hatch closed.
Caught out through the Hibana holes is Eden now. Oh no, Saki, sorry. As it was actually Saki trying to go for an aggressive play onto Aka. But now we are seeing a little bit of turtle happen from these defenders, but Tuberal going to be making his way up those main stairs, finds the first kill onto, and you see how much of a like machine that DMR is, just tearing through Finker.
You got barely a chance.
Yeah, we're now just sat here watching a guy try and take an engagement against that, and it's like he didn't even really do anything to control the recoil, and it just worked for him.
Yeah, indeed. And with a 3 versus 4, the round is continuing and getting close to that 30-second mark. Very limited time for the attacking team to still work with, and they still have quite a big job to do. I think every single defender is still upstairs, with one on the bottom of those main stairs, but they need to drop soon, they need to push soon, as there's still 4 defenders alive, and the timer is ticking on. The Thatcher is currently descending those main stairs, trying to pre-fire, hoping for the mirror to make a mistake and push aside and get her head taken off, but unfortunately, no, she's holding her position very strong, and he needs to go for the hedge drop, as that's his only viable option. Attackers dropping the hedge, unfortunately not being able to secure the player inside of tunnel, and not only one attacker left standing.
5 seconds to go.
Yeah, and the first win after losing 6 in total. Aspire finally secures a point.
Do you want to know another fun fact?
Yes, please.
As Ram, if you approach a mirror window and manage to get your drone positioned on the ledge in front of the window, you can actually activate your drone and it will destroy the mirror window completely.
Right, yeah, that's actually a thing, yeah. But is it on a soft wall or also reinforced wall?
Also reinforced.
And that's like meant to be a feature,
You
right?
just get it on the like on the glass, like on the little ledge in front of the glass, and it just eats the glass. It doesn't even eat like it eats the soft wall around the glass as well, but it eats the glass itself.
Yeah, and that's meant to be a feature, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I sure hope it was meant to be a feature, because if it's not, then it's a bug that hasn't been fixed.
Yeah, indeed.
And it was never brought up in any of the patch notes or demonstrated on Ram's operator. It was just discovered one day by some dude that was like, "Oh, I'm gonna throw this at a mirror window," and it worked. Like yeah, things like that need to be spoken about more.
Deploying ADS.
Yeah,
Either
indeed.
way.
And well, it's Aspire at least like extending this match for at least one more round, but they're still in a danger spot. They need 5 more rounds to potentially bring this map to overtime and make it like the ultimate test. But the Eclezya is still in this very strong position, still needing only 1 point, and now going for a different bomb site, which is potentially, I mean, even stronger. I wouldn't say so, but it's a very nice bomb site as well.
Defuse a bomb.
Well, as an attacker, it's pretty unlikely that you win the
Attacker
basement
bomb
site.
diffuser has been
Now,
dropped.
this is where we
Attackers
see
will
the
cover
real
the bomb
Eclezya
diffuser.
on this attack. It's where we see them actually have a pretty good chance to come away from this with a win with how they've been playing so far. But Finker first has to be aware of the man above. Doesn't quite catch him, but neither does the other way round. Camera dealt with, and Eclezya going to be approaching this wall here on the armory side in order to try and get it open. On the CC side, I keep saying armory, and the ace on the opposite side, Aka, going to be trying to get the other wall.
I mean, Wolf follows the Ubisoft callouts anyway. Like, there's so many callouts written next to the compass that most people don't even use and create their own instead, as they're just more functional. So who cares in this case? Ace Charge already opening up the jacuzzi wall to just create a new entry point along side, but there's still the mirror to be dealt with. No Ace or no Ash or Kali in play to actually deal with the mirror, so they need to find a different way. Potentially the Ace Charge can deal with it, but likely a mute jammer has been placed right behind it to deny that wall from being breached.
Well, Atto finds one, but is quickly traded off, as no Dekebi calls actually coming out of the attackers. And instead, we're going to be seeing a bit more of a gunfight-oriented attack. Ryu, playing the support on the attacking side, is going to be the top fragger for the team with a 4 KD right now. And, well, Mute getting caught out of position by Eden isn't going to help that case. We are going to be seeing Carol just on a bit of a slimmer angle try and take that engagement onto the window, but isn't able to find it, and instead gets dealt with, put in a box and sent home by Eden. And now... all Joveran done with, and Eclezya come away with a 7-1 victory on map 3.
Yeah, Aspire leaving the match early on, but not just leaving the match, but also leaving this competition as they are now fully eliminated. It's goodbye, Aspire. And it's Eclezya getting another chance to stay in this competition a bit longer, as they will now. They will stay in the lower matches, in those BO3 elimination matches, but at least one out of the three that they need has now been secured.
Well, with such a dominant victory for the side of Eclezya, obviously the first map was essentially just a free win for Aspire, and it still went 7-5. It's as free as it ever could have been.
Mm-hmm.
And well, with it still going 7-5, you're obviously going to be very disappointed in that. And then going into your own map pick and losing is extremely disheartening. So once you come along to map 3, a map that is a very slow burner in general, even though we did see a 7-1 victory here, it's one of those sort of maps where you're going to be facing it, and no matter how long it takes or how long you expect it to take, you're still going to experience that burnout straight away because you're going to expect a longer matchup.
Yes, indeed. And this is basically the match for today. It was a beautiful match. Like, just think back about Eclezya starting out with that penalty that they received fair and square. I mean, they were late. They were fairly getting punished for it, but still managing to work things around after the map kind of, ended against them, against their favor, as like they started with such a bad score, but then just winning those 2 matches and almost winning the first map as well. They have been doing so well, and I do think they did deserve this win, and that they will be a force to be reckoned with in those upcoming elimination matches in the next weeks.
Well, something we do have to show to the viewers at home is the standings that are updated and ready for showing what is going to be happening in the future. Obviously, we don't have any confirmed games as of this very moment, but as you can see, the side of Eclezya managed to make their way through, and also Wii Sports yet to be pitched in a match against Sevens alongside Windows Key and Zach Gaming. So match is still yet to be entirely confirmed, but tune in tomorrow to see Cosmo versus MVG. And yeah, that's pretty much all from me. Do you want to sign us off, Bozmax?
Yeah, because of course, like you already said, tomorrow it will be Cosma Gaming versus MVG, another one of those beautiful BO3 elimination matches. So tomorrow we say goodbye. Say goodbye to our second team to fall off out of the competition. So make sure to be here tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be Pasta and Pubble on your screen. But for now, indeed, I want to wish everyone. I want to thank everyone for watching for today. I want to thank you for casting with me, and especially also Voids for doing both production and being their second observer, and Ogon also stepping in as observer with a beautiful double observers.
Woo!
I mean, you will have noticed the double observers in the game, a new feature with the season, and I think we made very good use of it today. So it was an absolute pleasure to be here, and I want to thank everyone, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.